How's it going, everyone? I'm TheGamingRaptor. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be going over the Zhanhu for you guys in For Honor. Zhanhu, in my opinion, is a bit of a interesting character in For Honor. He's really good at holding his own in 44s. In 1v1s, you have to put in a little bit of work with him in order to get your kills in 1v1s. But in today's video, I'm pretty much just going to show you on how I play with Zhanhu in For Honor. I will show you guys a little bit of mix-ups and go over what I usually do with Zhanhu in For Honor in today's video. And I will also go over the feats that I take for Dominion and 44s, and I will also go over the gear perks and what I recommend you guys to take for gear perks. Now, if you do enjoy today's video, be sure to leave a like and also subscribe for more For Honor content. Well, let's go ahead and get straight into it. Alrighty, so taking a look at the Zhanhu. Zhanhu, in my opinion, in For Honor is like, he's kind of a mix of both offense and defense, in my opinion. Of course, Zhanhu is more of a dodge specialist and more of a counterattacker, so you have to remember that Zhanhu is also a counterattacker within For Honor. But Zhanhu also can do really good damage within his kit. Now, of course, Zhanhu's lights on all sides. They do 12 damage if you do them neutrally and don't go for any chain light right after or chain heavy. I mean, you can chain them into chain unblockable heavies. If you try and end it like that, that's pretty much the ender, which the unblockable heavies themselves are 28 damage on all sides. Chained ending heavies, that is, 28 damage on all sides. Zhanhu has unblockable lights that deal 16 damage. The unblockable lights, in my opinion, I wouldn't recommend using them so much. The unblockable lights are mainly a risk. They really are. The unblockable lights here, these are just risks. You really don't want to use them too much in Zhanhu's kit. I mean, you can use them sometimes, but you are going to be risking yourself to get light parried. Now, if I want to mix it up and everything, go for light, go for bash, try to end it. I mean, you can use it as an ender, but the thing is that you want to watch it when using those lights. You want to mix it up with like the heavy, and you mix it up with the light, both. You want to try and throw out those attacks. Whenever you're trying to end your combo and whatnot, you want to mix those attacks up. You don't want to just try and throw out one type of move every single time, because that's just going to make you more one-dimensional in a way. You want to try and mix things up, even if you're trying to go for these like chain lights here, these unblockable chain lights, because of course you're going to get parried if you keep on throwing them out every single time. You want to mix it up with maybe like the heavies or something, and try and like delay those if you want to. Or you can just go for the bash, mix it up into the bash again, and go for light just to get some more poking damage. Now, of course, some regular players might be able to fall for these lights a lot. Now, if you're facing like someone who's more of an advanced player or more of an expert within For Honor, you're gonna have a hard time. Keep it simple and let. Just keeping it simple like that. You want to watch it with these lights. You want to mix them up with the heavies and do something a bit different every time you're trying to end your chain. Do something different every single time. All right, so Zhanhu also has this zone here. Now, I haven't talked about the zone yet. Now, the zone, in my opinion, isn't that bad. The only thing I would recommend you guys not to do is don't throw it in neutral. Like, when I mean neutral, I mean throw it out at the start. Like, don't throw this out. Like, whenever you're trying to, like, fight your opponent or whatnot, just don't. Because this zone here is easy to just read. It really is. The opponent, if they see you throw this zone out, they can just block it, parry it, heck, crush and counter it. Or they might get a deflect if they're playing an assassin like a Rochi, Hatun, Nushia, anything. They'll pretty much get some free deflects. The Zhanhu zone is just free deflect city. That's pretty much what it is. But it's also a good zone. It's not a bad zone. The only thing you have to do is mix it up and just use it in your mix-ups. So if I were to do light into the bash, light feint into the zone, I could do something like that as another ender if I want to. Or if you do light feint into the zone, let the heavy fly, you can do something like that. And of course, later on during the video, I will be showing you guys a little bit of clips that I have playing with Zhanhu to show you how I usually play with Zhanhu within For Honor. So I'll show you guys that later on. And I don't utilize the zone as much with Zhanhu unless I'm playing like against, I don't know, Virtuosa. Because Virtuosa's stance is mainly vulnerable to an undodgeable attack, and of course Zhanhu's attack here, mainly his zone attack, is an undodgeable zone attack. Now, if someone were to dodge Zhanhu's zone here, of course they're not going to be able to dodge it. They're going to get hit with the attack. So of course, anyone that's being dodgy, you definitely can throw the zone out if you want to. I tend to just use it in my mix-ups as a way to just mix it up and do something a bit different. Like, just try to get some more damage and just try to condition my opponent sometimes. And if I'm facing like maybe 2 or 3 more people and I'm trying to like anti-gank, then I will use that zone since it does have a bit of a reach. And it can do some damage too to other people as well, around you, that is. The zone itself, you can use it for crowd controlling if you're playing in Dominion, Breach, 44 modes, etc. In 1v1s, you just want to be careful when throwing the zone out. Unless you're facing characters like Virtuosa, who has her stance, and you want to use that zone to get her out of her stance, or you're facing someone that's being very dodgy, then you can try to throw the zone out in your mix-ups and catch them and stop them from just being dodgy every single time, or get a Virtuosa out of her stance. Yeah, I'm always saying Virtuosa in her stance and everything, because that's how you get her out of her stance, is by undodgeable attacks. All right, let me talk about the dodge attacks. Now, Zhanhu's entire kit is different. It's very weird. Like, if you do these lights right here, of course, you'll go into that direction on the left, but it will feel like it's going on the right and everything. So that's pretty much what it will be. If you're moving to the left, it'll be a right light. And same goes with the left. You're pretty much moving to the right, but you're going to get a left light attack. So they're a bit opposite when it comes to these side dodge lights here. And of course, same goes with the side dodge heavies. Well, they're lights pretty much. The side dodge heavies are pretty much counted as a light. So it does around 9 damage for all the light attacks that Zhanhu does. And with the light attacks, you can go for anything you want to right after. Which is like the heavies, or you can go for the unblockable lights if you're wanting to do something like that and just end them quickly. Now, what I like to do, is do like backstep heavy, go for bash sometimes, and then go for something like this. I'll do something like that. I'll try to just do like that backstep light, go into the bash, right into the bash, go for another light, go for a dodge light if I want to. I'll sometimes use those dodge lights. I'll use those dodge lights to my advantage if I can. If the opponent's not parrying them or blocking them or anything, I'll just use them to my advantage. Pretty much what it is. But you also want to be careful. They are also risks too, so be careful with them. And let's go ahead and take a look at the crushing counters. Now, Zhanhu's crushing counters are mainly dodge light crushing counters that you have to move into your attack. So you have to move into the opponent's attack to get these crushing counters out. I'll show you guys right now. All right, so as y'all saw there, I pretty much was doing those dodge light crushing counters. On whose entire kit, you got to remember, he is a counter attacker. So you definitely want to use those crushing counters to your advantage to counter attack your opponent. And of course, they do good amount of damage. Like on all sides, with like the left side and right side, they do 22 damage if you get them off as unblockable heavies. Oh no, as unblockable lights, that is. Now, the left side and right side of those attacks, when you get those crushing counters off, they are lights. They're considered lights, and they do around 22 damage when it comes to those lights. And same goes with the regular lights here. Like, they do 22 damage and everything. That's just how it is. If you get the crushing counter, you do the light, 22 damage. Now, the top is mainly 24. It's 24 damage for top. I can understand why it's supposed to be a bit higher than the lights and everything. It's supposed to do some good damage and whatnot. And of course, if you go for the light and everything, after you get that crushing counter there, you can go for a GB if you want to. I usually go for GBs whenever I try to play with Zhanhu. I have to go for GB if I ever get that crushing counter off on top, and go for the top heavy. But yeah, crushing counters, really good. If you're trying to utilize this Zhanhu's crushing counters, then you would want to practice those crushing counter attacks. By just moving into your opponent's attack, just practice that for maybe 5 minutes a day if you can, and you definitely will get that down. And of course, take your time with it. If you want to face another opponent and whatnot and practice on all the characters you can, it is up to you. All right, let's go over the bash for Zhanhu. Zhanhu's bash here, it's a really good opener in my opinion. It is a bit fast. Sometimes I will end up just falling for it, but a lot of people do tend to fall for this bash sometimes. Now, of course, if you just let it off on the rip and everything, sometimes some people might fall for it. Now, if you're facing someone that's very good and just more of an expert in For Honor, then yeah, they will pretty much dodge it and try to just punish you. But in my opinion, I would try to use the bash within my mix-ups. Now, here's a mix-up that I will show you guys utilizing the bash and everything. So I go for light, go for the unblockable, go for a bash, go for the soft vein heavy in the guard break, and then get the heavy off. I will do that sometimes. I will. This is a mix-up I will tend to do sometimes. And I like using the bash. I really do. I enjoy Zhanhu's bash. It's a really good bash. And it's not too fast, not too slow, but it's really good. Now, when it comes to just my playstyle and whatnot, whenever I'm playing with Zhanhu, I will utilize the bash more when playing with Zhanhu. That is what I would do. I would utilize the bash more. Why do I utilize the bash? Well, of course, the bash, some people might not be able to see it coming. They might not see it coming. They may see it coming. It really depends. But it's a really good move in Zhanhu's kit that you can use to, well, be aggressive if you want to. Because if my opponent isn't really being aggressive and they're being a bit passive, I'm going to be aggressive towards them. And I'm going to use my bash to my advantage. Just use this to my advantage. Like I will do that. I'll be a bit aggressive when playing with Zhanhu if they're not doing anything. Now, if they are starting to be aggressive, then I'll play a bit more laid back and defensive. That's just how I really play whenever I play with Zhanhu, and pretty much in For Honor with my characters sometimes. I will play either aggressive or defensive depending on the situation. Well, with the bash, you can get yourself a top chain light, side chain light. You can get yourself a light right after and go for your enders if you want to. So light into heavy, you can do that, or you can do light into the unblockable light. Also, one thing I need to mention is that Zhanhu's heavies, or his unblockable heavies on the second chain, you can soft feint those by pressing X or guard break, and you'll pretty much go straight into the guard break. It's a really good thing to just do if your opponent is just going to dodge, then you can go for the GB and just catch them and get yourself a heavy. For Zhanhu's running attack, it's not a bad running attack. I won't use it as much. I don't utilize the running attack as much. Unless I'm like, I don't know, I want to try something different, then I will utilize it, but I won't utilize it too much. But this is a running attack. It does around 20 damage on the right side as a right heavy. Now I went over Zhanhu's entire kit. Let's go ahead and I'm going to just show you guys a mix-up or two, what I usually do. Alright, so when it comes to mix-ups and what I do with Zhanhu and For Honor, I like to pretty much do a little bit of poking with Zhanhu sometimes. Now this first mix up here, I pretty much just like do a little bit of light poking here and there, not on the same side, but I will sometimes do it on different sides. The reason why I'm doing that is to just chip away a little bit of damage at a time. Now, of course, this is also a risk because you might get light parried when doing this. So you want to try and do it like sometimes, like you want to do it like a little bit, not too much. Sorry, I had to mess with my headsets there. You want to try and do it a little bit. You don't want to do it too much. You don't want to just try and like do it every single time. Do it a little bit just to chip away damage a bit. I mean, you're gonna be chipping away 12 damage. That's not bad. I mean, if it was at like 15, then yeah, that'd be crazy. But it's 12 damage, so you're chipping away just slowly. That is. All right. This next part here is pretty much delaying my heavies a little bit. I like to sometimes delay my heavies within my mix-ups. So if I go for something like this. I go for backstep heavy, let this heavy go. I pretty much will do an unblockable heavy, but it's delayed. The reason why I'm doing an unblockable heavy that's delayed is really to just catch my opponent off guard if they dodge. That's pretty much why I'm doing that. Now, I also like to do backstep heavies and backstep lights as well, but I'll go into that a little bit later. But for a mix-up that I do, I'll pretty much do backstep heavy into heavy. I will do that sometimes. Sometimes I will do that. Just backstep heavy into the unblockable heavy delayed. Also, backstepping your attacks is actually pretty good too. So if you backstep light, you can just get your attacks ready. Same goes to backstepping a heavy, and you can just let that go for a delayed unblockable heavy if you want to. I recommend trying to do backstepping light or backstepping heavy in your mixes. Now, of course, when it comes to just using my bash and also being aggressive with Zhanhu, I will do this, I probably in duels a little bit more than Dominion. I mean, if I'm like doing a 1v1 in Dominion, then of course I will do it. But if my opponent's just sitting there a little bit, I'm gonna be a bit aggressive and use this bash and just mix up my attacks and let my unblockable heavies go sometimes. Here's a mix up that I pretty much will do. Reason for doing this mix-up here is because I'm going for the bash, going for light, feinting it, going for another bash, and going for those unblockable lights. I want to be able to just, well, chip away damage first of all. And of course, it's a good ender. I mean, the lights themselves, they are still good enders, but they are still risks, okay? Like, you don't want to do it all the time. You want to mix it up. You mix it up sometimes with the heavies and the lights for the enders. But it's mainly a way to just be a bit of aggressive, or be a bit aggressive with Zhanhu. And you can also mix in the zone if you want to just add a little extra flair or do something a bit different. But yeah, that's pretty much a little bit of the mix-ups that I usually do use with Zhanhu. Now, if we're talking about like for Dominion, I pretty much will try to be a bit dodgy whenever I'm playing with Zhanhu. That's how I usually play. I'll be a bit dodgy. I'll use my bashes a little bit. If I'm like facing two people, I'm gonna just external as best I can. That's pretty much how I would do it, is just externaling, which of course is just looking at another opponent right behind the original opponent that you're looking at, or just switching to a different opponent behind you, on the side of you, depending. Then I'll pretty much just be a bit dodgy and just try to get out of this bad situation. If we were to try to go for like out of stamina punish, here's the out of stamina punish I would do. Zone into top heavy. That's literally all you would want to do. Zone into top heavy. That's all I really do. I just do the zone in the top heavy, and that's pretty much it. Because it does 14 and 28 damage, is not bad. Now, the zone in the top heavy is a safe punish that I do. Now, if you're wanting to do something different, you can do side heavy into top heavy. You do that too. That's more damage, but you gotta time it better. You gotta time it really quick. You gotta do side, top very quickly. And that's pretty much it. Alrighty guys, now I'm gonna go ahead and show you the feats that I take for Zhanhu in either Dominion, Breach, or Elimination, all the 44 modes, and same goes with the skirmish and everything. I'll just show you guys what I take. Now, of course, if you want all of the information for all of Zhanhu's feats, I'll leave the For Honor information hub down below in my description, but let's go ahead and get started. So as you see here, I have Zhanhu's tier 1 feats. Zhanhu's tier 1 feats are honestly really good. Now, you have Fiery Tusk, throws a projectile dealing low damage. If the target was already burning, it explodes for additional damage. So it does deal more damage if the target is already burning, and it'll explode and everything for additional damage and stuff. Really good, not too bad. And of course you have, I do not want to mispronounce it, okay? So you have the second feat, which does set a gunpowder trap. It does explode and burn targets within its radius. So this is honestly a really good feat in my opinion. When it comes to just trying to get some more like fire onto your opponent, you can definitely do that. You also have his third one, which basically buffs his fire attacks. And you also have his fourth one, which is mainly Scorch and Deluge. Pretty much it'll launch an attack that scorches the ground, and then it sets the enemies around on fire. If they're outdoors, that is. You can't do it indoors, only outdoors. His tier 1 feats are not too bad to take. But for me, whenever I play with Zhanhu, here's what I take. This is literally all I take. Yes, I take this. I take Fast Recovery, Winner's Advantage, I don't want to mispronounce the third one. And of course, the fourth one, I just keep as the tier 1 for fourth one. I take all of these. I take these 4 because I want to be able to, of course, one, get my stamina back with Fast Recovery, Winner's Advantage to do a bit more attack damage after I get a successful attack. And the third one, of course, to gain stamina on successful hits. So I'll gain my stamina even more if I want to. And of course, for the fourth one here, it's just really debatable. You can keep that one or you can go for Last Laugh. It's debatable. Now, of course, with the third one, you can switch that out for Longbow if you want to. Longbow is not too bad because you're already going to gain stamina back. So why would I even need to take that one? I just take it because I really just want to get my stamina back. I don't want to lose too much stamina, you know? I want to be able to just have my stamina on successful hits too and just regain it a little bit. And of course, you already know I'm going to be taking Scorching Deluge to be able to just deal fire to my opponents if they're all around me. So, but yeah, you can take Longbow if you want to switch it out. It's another alternative for tier 3. And then for this one, I would just say take Winner's Advantage if you want to switch it from tier 1 or from the first one. I'd say Winner's Advantage. I mean, you can take Thick Skin. It does gain moderate damage reduction, but I really don't take it too much. I just really take Winner's Advantage to gain that attack, you know? Now, tier 1, I mean, you could take Bounty Hunter. Bounty Hunter's not too bad either way. You gain health and stamina when you kill another hero. Not too bad, but I'd rather just get my stamina back because the stamina, it matters more, because if you're out of stamina, you're not going to be able to do much damage, and of course you might get killed if you lose stamina, so you got to be careful too. So I want to be able to regenerate my stamina a bit much. That's why I'm pretty much going to take this here. Fast Recovery, Winner's Advantage. So yeah, these are pretty much the feats that I'm pretty much taking for Dominion and all 44 modes for me. Right, so let's go ahead and do a little overview of the gear perks that Zhanhu has. Again, if you want the information for all the gear perks and the feats, I will leave the For Honor information hub down below in my description, but let's go ahead and get started. For the first one, Zhanhu has Shields Up. When revived, receive a temporary plus 25 health shield. For the second one is Aegis. All shields received are increased by 20%. For the third one, Zhanhu has Devour. Upon execution, heal an additional plus 10 health. For the fourth one, Zhanhu has Endurance. When gaining a renown level, receive 3% stamina cost reduction. For the fourth one, it is Survival Instinct. When in critical health, gain 25% stamina cost reduction. For the sixth one, Zhanhu has Headhunter. For each unique player / bot hero executed, it increases the max health by 4. It increases the max health by 4. Oh my gosh. And for the final one, we have Fresh Focus. When out of stamina, counter guard breaks, blocks, and parries, they do regenerate 20% stamina. Okay, so when looking at the gear perks, I really don't mess with gear perks as much. Even with Zhanhu, I just don't mess with them too much. I mean, the one gear perk I have is Fresh Focus. I want to be able to regenerate my stamina on guard breaks, blocks, parries by 20%. That's not bad, honestly. I'm cool with taking Fresh Focus. Another perk you could kind of take, in my opinion, like just for me, you can take Survival Instinct if you're in critical health and just gain that 25% stamina cost reduction so you don't lose too much stamina. Now, Survival Instinct, it's debatable, honestly. I mean, if you want to gain 25% stamina cost reduction, I mean, of course you can take that. But you can also switch that out for maybe Devour if you want to. If you want to heal additional plus health, of course you can take that too. Pretty much I would say maybe Fresh Focus, Headhunter, and I would say Survival Instinct. I mean, you can do Endurance. Endurance isn't too bad either way. It does 3% stamina cost reduction. But for me, I would just say Fresh Focus, Headhunter, and Survival Instinct are honestly the ways to go in my opinion. That's just me. Now, when it comes to Gearperks, I'm still like new to it as well, so I'm just still giving you guys a little bit of heads up with it. For anyone that does play Zhanhu and everything, you can leave your recommendation for the Gearperks down below on which Gearperks you think would be really good. I mean, for me, I take Fresh Focus, and of course, if I am wrong, I will gladly learn about the Gearperks big time, okay? So I do apologize. Alrighty, guys, so here are some clips that I have with Zhanhu when I was playing in Elimination. So right here, I'm pretty much just trying to anti-gank and survive here. So as you see, I pretty much try to use my dodges a little bit, and I'm also trying to be a bit defensive too whenever I'm playing with Zhanhu. And of course, everyone has to be defensive within For Honor when it comes to playing Dominion. You gotta survive and just defend. But I was able to get my revenge here, and I was also able to get that sweet counter there. And I also was able to get that GB during revenge, and I was able to just do some mix-ups here and there. But here in this 1v1, I was using my dodges. That's what I was doing, and I would then try to use my bashes a little bit later on here, or right here actually. I'll use my bashes a little bit. I'll just keep on doing it. Like, this is how I sometimes will play. I'll sometimes use my bash, and I'll sometimes let my heavy fly. That's how I sometimes will play. I'll probably be a bit aggressive, and also just be a bit defensive sometimes. Like in this first clip here, it shows a little bit. That's just how I usually would play. It's just a bit offensive, defensive, depending on the situation. Alrighty, for this next clip here, I am facing an Afura, and this is a 1v1 here. Now, this Afura has shield, and right here, as you can see, I tend to just be a bit aggressive again. Now, I do get that light parry there because I was just baiting the Afura, and of course, you want to use those unblockables to bait your opponent as well. Really good. But I'm just really taking my time, and I'm also just using my dodges to my advantage. Every time she makes a move a little bit, sometimes I'll do that. I will do that sometimes, and I just watch her movement. I was able to get that light parry there and get some big damage off, and I was able to use that Assault Feint GB from the unblockable. Now, this Afira was getting the upper hand on me a little bit when it came to throwing out her dodgeable there, and I was able to clear up and get the win here and just go ahead and get that light, you know. You don't want to go for the execution all the time. If they're very low, just go ahead and just kill them. Now, in this next clip, I'll show you my mistake. Now, here we are for this next clip. Now, right here, I am taking on this Wharton here. So this Wharton, pretty much, well, he wasn't too bad. It's just for me, I did a bit of a goof at the end, and I should have just took the time to just kill him. Well, I should have just took my opportunity to kill him with the light. But right here, I was able to use my bash a little bit and be a bit aggressive with Wharton, and I was able to get the light parry. And I was also trying to throw out my unblockable to kill him. I then proceeded to do the bash. I should have went for another bash, but then he let his unblockable go. You never want to just sit there and just try to go for the execution sometimes. If you know that they're low, always go for the kill and just try to get the kill with the lights. You always want to do that. That was my mistake right there. Should have never done that. But overall, when it came to playing with Zhanhu, this is just how I usually play him. If the opponent just doesn't dodge or anything, and they just sit there, then yeah, they're just going to take that damage. That's pretty much okay with me. I'm just going to continue to be a bit aggressive until they start dodging a bit. And if they start dodging and being a bit aggressive on their end, then I will play defensive and try to get some crush counters here and there, or just try to just dodge their attacks. Or that's pretty much how I would do it. Alright, so that's going to pretty much do it for this guide. I do hope you guys enjoyed this Zhanhu guide in For Honor. If it did help you, please be sure to leave a like and also subscribe for more For Honor content. And comment down below where do you think you would put Zhanhu in your own tier list, and what do you think about Zhanhu in For Honor right now? Let me know in the comments down below. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you want to look at more of my videos, click this link over here, and you pretty much will go to my next video here where I do go over Jang Jun and everything if you want to look at that video. Or if you want to look at my NFL type of video, you can definitely look at it right there. Or if you want to subscribe, you can just go and subscribe.